If we are going to spend time together and really get to know each other, we are certainly going to offend each other sometimes. Not on purpose. Never on purpose, but it is going to happen. And the fear of offending someone or being offended is one of the things that has kept good-hearted people from different walks of life from approaching each other. Earlier, I referred to Barack Obama as black. After the service, someone's going to come up to me and tell me that I should have called him African American or a person of color. Others are going to come and tell me that I should have really referred to him as multiracial or biracial. Some of those people will say it with love in their hearts, and others may be self-righteous and, quite frankly, repulsive in the way they say it. We don't have an authoritative lexicon for doing the work of cultural understanding. Miss Manners hasn't published a book on how to be polite while hacking away at the Berlin walls that separate us. So a person like me can end up perplexed over whether to say white or Caucasian or European American when referring to myself. What inevitably happens is that people let their fear of offending or being offended paralyze them from taking the first steps. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Just walk across the room. In every situation where there's awkwardness and discomfort, it takes one courageous person to walk across the room and hold out his or her hand and say, hello. When it comes to breaking cultural barriers that can feel like a group of otherwise mature and successful adults have suddenly been teleported back to a junior high school dance, where the boys awkwardly standing on one side and the girls awkwardly standing on the other, being terrified to walk across the room and ask someone to dance. I can remember being in junior high school and being quite scared to ask a girl to dance. So here's what I'm asking you to do. I want you to be the one to walk across the room and say hello and introduce yourself. Not just once, but every week and every chance you get. And I want you, and I'm saying this to both churches this morning, to be prepared that we are going to inadvertently offend and be offended sometimes. And that's okay. We need to agree that that's okay as long as it's not done on purpose. Because that's the kind of radical love and understanding that it is going to take to fashion a new creation upon this earth. The key to success is to speak our truth in love, always having love in our hearts for the person who is before us, because love will guide us. Now, I really want to challenge you this morning. So far, I've just been getting you warmed up. I come from the Annie Dillard school, who said that we should hand out hard hats with the orders of service as people walk into church because worship is dangerous. It's dangerous to our egos and identities. The work of the church is not for the timid. Here's our challenge. Some of the things that draw many people to our church are that we don't proselytize. We don't recite a creed, and we don't tell people that they must believe certain things. And we believe that reason is an important guide in matters of faith. Because of these characteristics, many of us love All Souls, in part because it's different from the churches that we may have grown up with. But the challenge for us is to not base our entire religious life on reaction to other people's churches. Here's my case in point. When many of us think about a church where people are shouting hallelujah and raising their hands in the air and standing up when they feel moved by the Spirit, it's easy to associate those things with the old way of being religious. It's easy to think that applying reason to religion requires denying spirit and emotion in religion. as if the two are mutually exclusive. First, a quick show of hands if you think reason is important in religion. Good, thank you. I just wanted to see if I could get a group of Unitarians to raise their hands in church. Didn't it? That felt pretty good, didn't it? All right, hallelujah. Maybe there's hope after all. No, seriously. I'm not at all trying to get you or anyone to raise their hands or to shout hallelujah in church. If that's where I was going with this, I would think that many of you would walk out right now and I wouldn't blame you. That's not my point or my challenge. Now, I see some relieved faces out there. There were some of you who were thinking that Marlin's going Pentecostal on us. That you can relax your minds about that. I might have some pent-up Pentecostal in me, but it hasn't shown up yet. My point is not to get you to say hallelujah. It's to see if you have room in your heart and in your church for someone who does. In that vein, I want to share a story with you from Anne Lamott from her book, Traveling Mercies. Before Anne Lamott was a famous author, she was living on the edge in many ways. And one of those ways was that she was living on the edge of poverty. After becoming pregnant and realizing that she was going to become a single mother, she started going to church and changed her life. In the book, she describes her church and some of its members. Even though Anne is white, the church that she joined is primarily African American. She writes that when her son Sam was born, the old ladies in the church used to slide up next to her in the pews and secretly stuff $10 and $20 bills into her pockets, trying to do it without her noticing. It was their way of helping her out, even though many of these women were living off small Social Security checks and barely scraping by themselves. She talks about one woman named Mary Williams. She was in her mid-80s, so beautiful with her crushed hats and hallelujahs. She always brought Anne plastic baggies full of dimes, closed with those little wire twists. Anne describes her like this. Mary Williams always sits in the very back by the door. She is one of those unusually beautiful women, beautiful like a river. She has dark skin, a long, broad nose, sweet, full lips, and what the theologian Howard Thurman calls quiet eyes. She's raised 5 children as a single mother, but one of her boys drowned when he was very young. And she has the softness and generosity and toughness of someone who has endured great loss. During the service, she praises God in a nonstop burble, a glistening dark brook. Oh, yes. My sweet Lord, thank you, thank you. Anne continues, I watch Mary Williams pray sometimes. She clutches her hands tightly together and closes her eyes most of the way so she looks blind. Because she is so unself-conscious, you get to see someone in a deeply interior pose. You get to see all the intimate resting. She looks as if she's holding the whole earth together or making the biggest wish in the world. Oh, yes, Lord. Now, we have to wonder, would Mary Williams feel comfortable at All Souls? Because if it really is a church welcoming of all souls, if it is a church dedicated to tolerance and a church open to theological and cultural diversity, if love really is the spirit of this church, then Mary Williams will be not only welcome, she'll be cherished and beloved.